I want to highlight this comment from Solid 912 says, part of me doesn't like the whole Yoshi-P we trust. When it comes to 16, he's the producer. He's there to make sure deadlines are met. But a vision is all the director creative director duo. Absolutely. And I think, yeah, and I agree with this to an extent, with the kind of the caveat that one of the things that we see happen within development when a game comes out and does not deliver, you see a concept online, oh, lazy devs. And I go, no. I would first point you to leadership. And leadership is a critical role. It's a role in which that, yes, deadlines are being met, but you're not spending time wasting away, doing a lot of rework. And we've seen that plague Square Enix specifically numerous times, where a game is announced and then 10 years later it comes out. Like, that game was restarted its development 3 times, most likely during that case, or maybe 2 times, especially in the 10-year.
Overwatch 2 just changed leadership over the last couple years, and it completely changed the direction of the project. Not because the devs changed, not because the entire production team changed, but because the people at the top changed. That was the reason for the big shift in direction. So, like, and he's the celebrity name that the 14 community knows.
Well, he's earned that title, right?
It's the top billing in a movie, right? They're not the only actor in the movie. They're not the only person that makes that movie possible. They're the person that we reference. When you think the new Top Gun movie, you think Tom Cruise, but there were a lot of brilliant performances in that movie. So, like, part of it is his name just has the recognition, it has the SEO rank, and part of it is because he is such a high level producer, and production in particular has been something that the industry has had trouble nailing down exactly what it looks like. Same with community management. Community management is something that, like, 14 continually wins awards for. Those community awards, that's not us. That's the community team, the people at Square Enix with their paychecks. So when the community pats themselves on the back, it's not you, it's the people managing it. It's your babysitters that are getting the reward. And they work for it. And so that community team is something that, when we out on Twitter, you can see community managers all the time. They're very, very vocal. It's what their job is, about what it's like. That is a role that the gaming industry has not well defined. Every studio treats it a little bit different. Some studios just let any responsibility they don't know what it is just fall on the community team. Others think that community teams aren't even really valuable, and so the first time they get to layoffs, they just let that team go blindly. It is not a well-defined role. And so I would argue that if you are trying to get in a game that's going to have a big community element to it, the same way we're looking at production here, because production is such a big part of a single player RPG coming out at quality and coming out on time and being an incredible product. I would argue that if we were talking about an MMO, what are we doing within the community team? Because the community team has just been an ill-defined part of the space, and it can make the difference between a good game and a great game.
Yeah. And like, I see chat and Mitchell, talking about, like, his job also to empower the team to free them up to be creative. And I think Yoshi-P, we've seen that. And that's one of the things. Now, what's interesting, because, like, when we talk about him as a celebrity name, like, that's coming from the Final Fantasy 14 world, where those who have not played and will not play because they're like, oh, I don't want an MMO, I want a single player game. Like, as you see, I've seen lots of lists coming out where Final Fantasy 11 and 14 is completely excluded off of those lists outright. And it's like, oh, come on. Like, just, it's got an amazing free trial. And we've talked about ways of opening the game up itself with, like, there's all kinds of things that I'd like to see what they kind of, what they would experiment with, especially like in 11's case. Like, what do they do in offline mode? Do they just reimagine it as a single player story? Who knows? I'd be game for any of that. But when it comes to Yoshi-P and his team, like, I think this is also a good opportunity for him to show up. And that's where, like, again, the article's talking about, like, yeah, okay, hey guys, you know what? We've shown you stuff. We've done the trailers. Why don't you go play it? You go play it. You know what? And if you don't like it, no worries. And it's like, so many people, like, I've seen, oh, I didn't think I was going to like this game. I was wrong. Like, I've seen so many people going like, oh, okay. Yeah, that rhetoric, zip, like, whoa, okay, there's something different here. And ultimately, I guess it'll be interesting to see where this game falls and how people receive it. And just, like, that's something that I'm very grateful to this community for allowing me the opportunity to sit down and play Final Fantasy 16, because I stated it like we were talking like podcasts ago. It's like, I think the real testament of Yoshi-P's real leadership and his change will be felt with Final Fantasy 16. And we didn't know he was the producer of it at that time. And I was like, and so this is where it's like, was that a correct prediction? Was that a correct feeling so many years ago? And is that mindset rewarded? And we'll find out here soon enough.